Humans of the cardboard, it is time yet again to update one of my favorite videos that I get to do on this channel, and that is the brand new archetype tier list. This is looking at brand new archetypes that have come out in this calendar year and pretty much ranking them on how good they are. We get somewhere between 20 and 25 archetypes generally a year. And that's really exciting. I love new decks. Konami's been doing, I think, overall a good job at making decks that kind of vary in how good they are, varying in the style of play they have, and yeah, this is a good place to judge them. Now, we are judging them competitively speaking on how good I think they are at, at their peak as of right now, or as of what they've gotten so far, I should say. The only thing I have reluctance about making this video right this second is that we just got all but one of the cards for the new Valmonica archetype from the new deck build pack, but we have not gotten the final archetype, which is Centurion, and that'll probably come in the next 2 weeks, which is kind of a bummer because I can definitely give you my judgment in the video where I recover the new cards, but as far as this video goes, they will not have a fair shake on that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So let's get into it. Keep in mind we're being a little bit loose here. Some of these archetypes technically were like late 2022 for the TCG, but like they weren't like a real deck until 2023, so I'm just counting, we're keeping it loose, but I think this is still fair enough. So let's start off with the first one here, Mikanko. Cool archetype. I think it's cool. It has a generic enough engine in the fact that like you can like pitch anything, helps get stuff out of the hand. It can just get you a simple little extension and interruption added onto your board. I think it's cool. I think it's decent. We've seen a couple things be decent with it. I'm going to put it in B tier, nothing crazy. It's probably like mid to lower B tier at this point because I think it's already been power crept a little. But also as a generic deck, as a pure deck, it's seen a little bit of play competitively, being a hard going second deck that can kind of just really be annoying, pick your board apart, and then deal you a bunch of damage. It's pretty good. So cool. Next up, I have Nemorelia. With some of their new cards, they do have some added interruption, so their engine is an engine now that like may be worth looking at, but to me it's still C tier. I don't think we've seen much of this in the OCG, so I'm not too fearful of it in that regard, and I just don't see how they just get one interruption most of the time. And that's mostly it. Nothing scary about them, to be honest. Gate Guardian. This is an easy D tier for me. This is one of the least powerful archetypes for this list, for sure. It plays some bricks. It needs some weird stuff to be able to like make their combos go through. They're fun. They're cool. I'm glad Konami updated the Gate Guardian cards because they definitely deserved a revamp. But they're definitely anime cards. This is Bestial. So Bestial has like a whole archetype, I guess, because at first it was just kind of like a package of hand traps. Nobody really played it as an engine, and then in 2023 they actually got, I guess, enough cards to actually be a whole engine. I'd put him in A tier just because like I think the best thing to kind of compare him to is like Dragon Link. Dragon Link has been super high tier competitive as of late. In fact, even in Kashtira format, it's actually gotten some pretty good results. If Kashtira gets hit on the ban list, this deck may just be an A tier deck, like a tier 1 deck. We'll see. And so I'll give the engine the benefit of the doubt, plus the fact that the Bestials are just generic hand traps in other decks, and Dispater has seen play in non-Bestial decks anyway, gives them a little leg up as well. We have the new Earthbound Immortal cards. Very, very cool. I think they're super interesting. I think there's a lot of potential here. I'm going to put them at low B tier. I'd love to put them higher than this, but for right now I have to. I just don't see it yet. I haven't seen like much of anything come out of the OCG with this deck, with this engine. It can search any field spell. It can get you like at least one like decent little interruption. But I just haven't seen the full application come full circle just yet. It also locks you into, I think, synchros and fusions, so that can get a little dicey as well. So it does take away a good amount of options, I think, that might have been able to play the engine. But still, it's cool. It's interesting. We'll see if there's something there when we get them in the TCG, because I know people will be messing around with it. But until then, I'm going to leave it in lower B. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it in high C, because we haven't seen much of anything in the OCG. This engine, the Chimera engine, this is a tough one. I'm going to put it in high B. I think it's just too early to put it in A. Man, I'm thinking about it. The OCG has seen a little bit of success with this. This engine has kind of, with like branded Chimera lists, have done some cool stuff. I think they're cool. I think there's definitely some cool potential there. I'm not sure if they're all the way there, but there's some plays there. They have a little grindability. They're getting a new fusion monster in Age of Overlord as well, which kind of helps as well push like certain engines. So we'll see. I think they have some really good potential. I think we'll figure something out at some point. Either Konami will give them even more support and that'll be the difference, or we'll just figure out what they needed. But I'm going to put them in high B for now. Horus, another B, easy B for me. I'm going to put it above of Chimera right now just because this engine is so generic. It's going to have such crazy generic application. It can help you pitch cards from hand, so graveyard decks, I think of stuff like Orcust. If Orcust were to ever get like Harp off at 3, this would be an engine that I think they would definitely look at. It just gives you free level 8 bodies. Level 8's on level 8. So rank 8 plays, potentially even Synchro 10 plays if you play level 2 tuners and stuff in your list. I've seen some Volcanic lists put in some work in videos. I've seen them be played with other stuff. Going second with like Zodiac be very, very interesting. I saw a really cool deck of that going second. I think it's got a lot of potential, especially if they get more cards in the next set, because this is such a scary archetype so far. Memento. I'm going to put it in high C tier, because this is a new deck build archetype. 1, they're going to get one more monster before this set is even released in the OCG, and 2, they're going to get like 2 more waves of support in the next upcoming core sets anyway. For these other archetypes in like C and D tier, I'm not confirmed that there's anything more coming for them super soon, but Memento will. I think they're one of those decks that kind of relies a little bit too much on their main boss monster. So it's like, oh, if we don't get to our boss monster, what are we doing with our lives? I think that's an issue, but I think with support, they could be in a good spot. So we'll see. Centurion, I'm going to put them in S tier. To me, they had the coolest artwork, but there's nothing that's been revealed really for this archetype just yet. Probably in the next week or 2, we'll get the first, 10 cards of this archetype revealed. Looking forward to that, but yeah, for this video, not much. Next up, we have Valmonica. They actually just got released as I'm recording this same night, because I'm pre-recording for I'm going out of town. I want to put them in C tier. I think they're definitely better than Nemorelia. I guess I have to put them above Earthbound Immortal for now because of the same reason I have Memento above them. Neither of these archetypes are jumping out at me at this moment as super competitive decks. But like I said with Memento, it's one of those things where this archetype's going to get one more spell card before it drops in the OCG. And then for the next 2 core sets, they're going to get more support. There's so much can change. We've seen Exosister become an immediate high-tier threat. We've seen Rescue Ace in the OCG start to take over, right? Adventure Engine, when it didn't have all of its cards revealed, we thought that deck was ass. Like, it has happened so many times in these deck build packs. They come through in the next wave of support and, decks fly. Decks do insane. Like, Labyrinth was mid when it came out. Boom, then became amazing. Stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to leave it in C for now just because I'm keeping this current. But there's definitely potential for these to jump, for sure. Diabellstar, I'm going to put this above this engine, above Bestials for now. This engine's crazy. It's super generic. To me, it feels like Eldritch, but faster. It's got good utility. It can get you essentially an Omni Negate, but it's on field. But it does negate spells and traps, so that's still great for if you play a deck that's maybe weak to something like Dark Ruler No More, the Evenly Matches of the World, like you lose to those board breakery cards. This engine really helps with that. They also have a really insane quick play spell that like wipes the opponent's board. As well as it being a crazy engine. It's an engine that can summon any level 1 fire from deck. Okay, hey Rescue Ace. I'm sure there's maybe Infernobles is like another thing you could look at there. There's some level 1 fires in that deck. Snake Eyes will get to see some play here maybe down the line, but yeah, this engine's crazy. We're going to see it generically splashed in multiple decks. I can guarantee you that. Moving on, Pirelli, obvious A tier. I'm going to leave it below Diabellstar just because Diabellstar splashes in like anything, like literally anything. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt just because it's generic and it's going to be C play in like multiple different decks, but there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When this deck has not been hit on the ban list, it has been one of the best decks in the game. It's really good. Not much else to say about it. Snake Eye, really, really cool one. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier because I think it has, at this point, it looks better than Memento and Valmonica, but it doesn't do enough interruption just yet. And listen, same thing as them. This is a new archetype from a new core set, so support in the next the next core set, maybe support in the next core set after that. Very, very soon we could get enough stuff here. I just think they're a little better right now than where Memento and Valmonica are. If I had to rank them, I think they have a little more room to be like splashed with other engines. They work really well with Diabellstar, of course. You can play those together. I think there's a bright future here. I think there's definitely a world where Snake Eyes is like one of the best decks in the game. But Konami has to push him. We'll have to see what the next waves end up being. All right, Tistina, new archetype, TCG exclusive. We got the first wave very recently. I have to put this one here. I think it's probably worse than the Earthbounds at this point, but better than Nemorelia, but that's not saying much. But listen, this is how every single TCG exclusive has gone for years, it feels like at this point. For the most part, I think there's some outliers, like B Trooper already had some legs, and the second wave was kind of underwhelming. But generally, with stuff like Plunder Patrol, with stuff like Gold Pride, right? The first wave is interesting. There's some cool stuff. And they needed the second wave to come through to really push them to playability. And we're waiting on 7 new cards in the next set, Age of Overlord. That could be the difference. So we'll have them here. I'll be looking at them prospectively, but we'll have to see. Rescue Ace, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to put them at the very top of B tier because in the TCG, they're like tier 2 maybe. They've got some consistency issues. It feels like the deck can struggle with, I don't know, just like losing to itself sometimes, which I don't love. But man, it plays. The new support cards are really good. It's a deck that works really well in the mid-range. Sometimes it feels really broken, and sometimes it feels really underwhelming. It's one of those decks. But hey, it doesn't lose to any particular card in the game super, super hard. So I guess that's the benefit there. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. I think top of B tier feels right. Kashtira, obviously. We can put this one above Diabellstar because it has been, when it's been even just somewhat healthy, ban list-wise, it's been the best deck in the game. Easy top of A tier. Manadium, I'll put this, below Horus, I guess. I don't know. It's somewhere around here. I think this deck has high-end potential, but I think it's been fragile, super fragile to hand traps. It's got some interesting things going on. It's just not enough yet. Maybe they need the stuff from Age of Overlord before they can take the next step. It's fine. I think it's just fine. I think it's about as good as Scareclaw, maybe, somewhere in that range. But yeah, this is about where I'd put Scareclaw too, so that works. Gold Pride. I think this is also a B tier one. I think we've seen it be pretty successful in you know what, this is probably more like here. Yeah, because like Gold Pride Punk is a real deck, but Gold Pride Pure just okay. But the engine is real. The engine is legit. They needed their second wave, just like we're waiting on for Tistina to see if that engine, if that deck takes off. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a solid engine. Vagrasol, like clear B tier. I'd put it probably above Manadium, but below Horus and Rescue Ace at this point. Cool deck, but it is hard to play. It feels like you can get punished for small misplays, small mistakes. So if you can pilot it well and efficiently, you're in a good spot. But man, it's hard. I've messed around with it a little bit, and I've had trouble sometimes to really play the deck, correctly. So yeah, it's a cool deck. They're getting more support. We'll see. Excuse me. They are most likely going to get another card or two in the next core set as well, but we'll have to wait and see when that drops. This deck, Nouvelle, definite C tier. They're definitely not in B. I don't think they're as bad as D. They're probably somewhere like here right now. Plus, they probably only have one more card or two coming in the next core set, so I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. But we'll see. And then Transcendosaurus or Transcendorus, whatever the name of these guys are. The new Dino boys, they're fine, honestly. They don't even play most of the cards, even in like pure dinos. They play like the Spell, the level 6 tuner guy, and like maybe a vanilla, but they don't play much else. Or they play the fusion too. But yeah, just fine. As far as this goes, it's just like an added on engine to dinos, so I'm not going to rank this like it's straight up dinos. I'm just going to rank these guys. I think they're fine. I think they're probably like above Nouvelle, but like worse than these guys at this point in time. Yeah, and again, they might get one more card in the next core set, but we'll see. But yeah, that's my ranking. That's where I have everything here. Centurion's going to get their stuff revealed very soon. Also in the next month or so, we're going to start getting reveals for the next core set anyway, so we could get another archetype or two revealed out of that. We'll have to wait and see. But there's definitely stuff on the horizon here. We'll probably get, 3-4 more archetypes by the end of the year, hopefully, which is cool. We'll definitely be looking forward to that. Hopefully getting a slightly bigger list and a good update closer to the end of the year. But for now, I think this is where my list is at. Obviously, these will change when they get new support. But for now, I think it's cool. So yeah, that's it for me here, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. Let me know your thoughts down below on this list. What would you move? What would you adjust from yours? What do you want to see from Centurion or maybe another archetype that's yet to be revealed? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that stuff. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching as always. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.